So now, we've kind of done like a nice premise, we felt it out a bit. I want to ask you a direct question that is in line with why we're here. Defining a blockbuster. In your view, what makes a Nollywood project a blockbuster in today's competitive market? Is it the story? Is it the budget? Is it the star power, the faces? Is it the marketing? Is it the platform it ends up in? What is it? What's that? How do we define what a Nollywood blockbuster is? And to just touch on that, there's a second question I wanted to ask about Nollywood fans connecting strongly with that authenticity of the story. If that in itself is the starting point, but everything else that comes after, what defines a Nollywood blockbuster for you, Mr. Adebayo?
Okay, thank you. I want to start from what Gabriel said, and that is what makes a story fantastic. Okay, I should say storytelling, one for me. What makes a blockbuster story is the story itself. A blockbuster film is the story itself, right? So Gabriel mentioned that for you to have a good film, there must at least be elements of at least a minimum of 3 stories combined together and linked together. From there, you have been able to captivate the audience. They are either interested in a particular story or another story. So there's no way you are not carrying at least somebody along. Alright, and when you look at all my films, you realize that I have a combination of nothing less than 4 stories in one. And that is why it's always easy for me when I say there's a sequel. I'm touching, multiple stories. So making a blockbuster film in Nollywood, you must have a combination of stories in one. That is it. Secondly, it is not really about budgeting, but it's about interpretation.
Do you think you can achieve a blockbuster film with on a I don't say small, but on a minimal budget?
Exactly what I'm saying. What is minimum budget? What is high budget? What is medium budget? It's relative, right? For me, I can say, okay, minimum budget is 80 million. Yeah, and for somebody else, might say that is a very high budget. And for somebody else, you can say that is no budget at all. It does not stop that film from being a blockbuster. What is important is how is the story that you have come up with, which is fantastic. That is number one. How did you interpret it? How is it executed? So when you read my script and you say, oh, I can give this script a 5 over 10, I can tell you by the time I'm done filming, you will give it an 8 over 10. Because my interpretation is totally different from my script.
Can I just ask very quickly, just because you're talking about the script, how long should we spend on scripts? Because sometimes it feels as if you're seeing the final results and it looks, the production quality is good, everything is, but you're just like, where is the story? How did this leave somebody's, like how did we get from the script to here? How much time should we spend on scripts, developing our characters, giving them backstories, giving them depth? How long?
You can't actually have a particular time to do so. Like I write my story till the day I release my film. When I'm on location, I have something else that comes up to my mind and I think it's going to be fantastic, I include in the story. When I'm at post-production and I see something that is fantastic, I put in my script. Gabriel is part of my next movie that is coming up.
Oh.
Yeah. In 2 days. Then in 2 days, in December.
What's the name, please? Tell us.
You get to know soon.
Please now. So we can say you heard it here first. I'm free.
Right. And I just called him yesterday and said to him, we are post already, brand new not post. And I just called him yesterday, guy, I'll need you at the studio to do this. That means I'm still writing my script. So for me, it's not over until it is out for the people to watch. And of course, I started the script from somewhere, So from my idea, I have a team which discuss it, another external team which discuss it, they go right, first draft, come back, we sit down, second draft. So sometimes Okay, for example, 7 Doors scripting took me almost 8 months.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, took me 8 months. And when we got on set, in fact, I must sincerely say that Opa's role taken by Gabriel was the most tasking and most difficult for me in that script, because we were trying to infuse something that would be a check on the king, the Oba, because the king has so much power. But we also believe that even if you have power, you must be checked. So it took me a long time before we infused Gabriel's character in the film, and it was a very strong one on the film eventually. So you can never tell. That is why storytelling, the story, is the first thing you consider when you want to make a blockbuster. Alright? Then the second one is the interpretation. I want to be sincere with you. Part of interpretation comes the costuming. Hardly would you see any of my film that you would not see special costume. People are used to seeing us wear what we're wearing, I don't want people to see the usuals of my film. I don't want it. I don't like it. It's not new. I don't want the usuals. So goes to costuming. I don't want the usual set. There must be at least something different, something unique about, even if it is one set in my film. Those are the things I consider when making a blockbuster. You have to move away from the usuals. Now, it is now left to you to be accepted globally if you are moving away will resonate with people or you get it wrong. That's the reason. But if you are making a blockbuster, you have to move away from the usuals. So I make different costumes, unique sets, And when you talk about cast, of course, not about movie stars, blah blah. It's an extremely contributing factor when you're talking about the business part of filmmaking. When you're talking about the business part of filmmaking, you have to consider what face can push your movie. But by the time you are a made producer, Femi Adebayo's films are nice. Then you can move away from that. So if I'm coming up with a film and the entire faces are new faces, what is important is that the film must make sense, because I have a brand already. So for me, those are the things you should consider before making a blockbuster. And don't sometimes a blockbuster might not actually, give that financial benefit that the executive producer is expecting. But it must be able to satisfy the audience. That's it.
Definitely.
Yes, and in addition, audience are the decider if a movie is going to be a blockbuster or not. They are the end game to everything. That's why you have to make careful choices when you're making it. And like you said, it starts from the roots, which is the story. Then from there, you can build your brand. Once the brand is solid, you can now start making other choices that are supposedly risky.
Yes.
Not because, hey, when you say, no, me, I think no. Do you understand? Because if there's an aim behind you saying, oh, I want to make this, then that means there's a first emotion you already have. I'm going for the big stuff. You can't spend a lot of money on a story that is weak and you expect people to say, because it looks glossy, there's costume, and where is the content? Where is the substance? You understand? Where is that? So that's why the core of anything blockbuster would still be the story type and how it's being told from whatever point of view, from whatever production point of view, and all that. Yeah.
But to follow, you piggyback off Mr. Femi's answer there, but I want to ask you what advice would you give to young actors looking to perform at blockbuster level in Nollywood?
The aim is to always be on your A game all the time, regardless if it's blockbuster or not. Blockbuster is just a space where we do big stuff. But what's going to be your catalog? Because if you hear that they are paying one actor big money for anything, it's not because of that job, it's because of those days that he has never been paid well. The stack up of what he has done. The never backing down, type of spirit. When you go there, you're not even being paid so much, but you're still giving your best all the time. The idea is to give your best all the time. Leave Blockbuster for one side first. You understand? What's your catalog like? If you hear the kind of amount they're paying the likes of Denzel and all those people, it's not because they are at the top now. No, it's because of those days of nothing. So passion has to come to play all the time. One scene, two scene, half scene, whatever scene. The idea is don't take it. But since you've chosen to take that role and you've decided to leave your house, you shower, you get in your car if you don't have, or you jump bus. If you say, okay, I'm coming, then come correct. There's no point being on set and you start feeling some type of way, or you think the role is not good enough. Or no, the role is already good enough because you said yes to it. So I'll say it's not so much about the blockbuster, because how do you even get cast in a blockbuster if not all these ones that you've been doing that you think nobody is seeing? Trust me, we don't need to act a fool. The whole world is watching. No matter what you do, no matter what you do. I've seen Steelers. People coming in to say, and they be like the best in that scene, just It might be the demeanor or how he gets to say that particular line, and all eyes will just be on that person. So don't joke with prayers too. So your effort can be, crowned. Because this game, trust me, there's even some people in primary school that are still coming in to join us.
The year of born are still coming.
They are still coming in. Because we are in an industry where there's really no measure of getting in like that. You can literally close shop in the evening, and if you have opportunity to go, you will go and they will still give you a chance to act. So that's why sometimes they'll be like, acting. Is it not? See, it's a serious work, but we're in there's this magic with it that you almost think like you're a professional, and at the same time it looks like it's the job for peasants. So how do you make it in an industry that is giving two vibes of you either make it to the top or you don't even make it at all? That's where you have to put in work and at the same time make sure prayers. Yeah. So in a blockbuster, I think it's going to be the effect of what you've been able to do over time. That's what's going to give you that leverage to now be on blockbuster. It's very rare to give a relatively unknown face a chance on a blockbuster, except if it's the family of the producer. And he must have had some formal training, maybe fresh from acting school, and he hasn't had that major opportunity and like that. But you must have some level of experience to be able to handle anything within a blockbuster space. Even if you're an extra, you must coordinate. You understand? You have to organize. So if they are saying you should go right, you go in a certain proportion that suits the lens. So you don't do things outside the lens. Because sometimes the natural eye can give a very wonderful performance. You're doing it well, but the lens can't contain you. So you still have to find that rhythm, and it comes with experience. You can't get it anywhere. Because sometimes you just get on set for the first time, you do a lot of things that are impressive, but when you see the playback, you feel some type of way. And you'll be like, but they said I did it well. and you feel like, so that's why I said experience matters, with handling anything within blockbuster space. Yeah.
Let me play harder. I think you should stick to the first thing Gabriel said, that the catalog of what you've done before can make an upcoming actor be part of a blockbuster.
Yes.
That's just a simple answer. Forget the fact that except the producer is the family, or the sentiment for somebody like me, the sentiment doesn't work.
Right.
It doesn't work, and it can't work. If you can't fit in a particular role for me, even if you're my son, my daughter, it doesn't work. And I think this will also be translated to those of us who decided to either date a director, befriend a producer, to think you're going to get roles. If I was a producer, Exactly, yeah. It's intentionally, shaking. I shook the table intentionally. So it's better you rely on what you have done or what you can do.
Yeah.
That's it.
So please put your hands together for them. We are dropping some wine, wisdom nuggets here. And before I go to we know you're playing what is this semi-last card for you now, check up. So I have 2 questions for you before I now go to the audience to get some more questions. About industry growth. From your perspective, what Seven Doors represents for the evolution of Nollywood storytelling, especially in terms of production quality and thematic ambition. But before you answer that, just because we're talking about what makes a Nollywood blockbuster, we're talking about acting. I'm just curious, how do you decompress after a role? Like you've been, like someone like him that played Opana that had to go to a very, very deep, dark place. How does Gabriel Afolayan decompress? What do you do to get out of character? What does Femi Adebayo do to decompress? I'm curious.
Okay. Because we love what you do, there's always a breather, at some point, because it's still your body you're using to play all these characters now. So when the body needs to calibrate or goes to rest, for me, not sleep. I just go to bed because we grow in our sleep. That's why you can look at yourself in the mirror. The previous day there's no gray hair, and all of a sudden you woke up next morning and there's gray hair. So that in itself shows that there's a certain level of calibration, that goes into the system from top to bottom, from your brain to other nerves in your system. So sometimes if you've been hysterical a day before, just because you just had a normal good sleep, you wake up refreshing. That's why even in a psychiatric home, they are always looking forward to making sure the mad people sleep. So for me, that's how I get this off my system. I just go to bed.
I like that. And I say this because there's a mental component to it. Yesterday, Auntie Mildred was talking about how a lot of actors now have ADHD because they're doing so many different things at the same time. So I just thought it was important for Nollywood icons like you to share that I actually need to take time for myself to break away from the character and be myself once more. So I want to know what you do as well, sir.
Well, my mind is just lots of time. It's lots of time. When I get into a character and I want to get out of that character, it just takes me time to, get out of it. And especially coming to the realization of the fact that that is not the real me. So the lapse of time, for example, my role in Dragon, for example, that was an extremely wicked character,
Very wicked.
And to get out of that role takes me time, especially because it has a mannerism where.
Let's say you were wicked. Right? After that, we're still wicked. until it left your body.
Spending the time I'm playing that role, most times, especially when we're on set, I don't want to get out of that character while we're filming, So while we're filming, even if I'm not on set, sometimes I just, intentionally shake the neck, because I want it to be part of me for that period of time. Alright, so after filming, of course, maybe a few, sometimes days out of it, I get out of it, totally. And that's why it's difficult for me to leave a set today and jump on another tomorrow. I don't do it. It's going to give me serious issues. Yeah.
Definitely. Now just imagine you like having a normal conversation with someone, maybe 2 days after you left the Jago say, I just like, and then please don't. Alright then, so let's talk about that. Let's wrap up with industry growth, because at the end of the day, that's all this that we're doing is so that the industry can grow. And you set a standard. The panel session before this, I think it was Paul that was talking about not having enough success stories, the kind of productions that international platforms can look at and say, okay, we're coming to Nigeria to collaborate. I believe that Seven Doors is one of those success stories. It's definitely done something for the culture. So what does Seven Doors represent for you in the evolution of Nollywood storytelling in terms of production quality and thematic ambition?
Okay, thank you. So Well, there's a maxim that says res ipsa loquitur. That means the fact speaks for itself. All right. So the fact is that Seven Dwarfs has done greatly, and in a way elevated Nigerian culture, and that basis, one way or the other, it shows there is growth from where we're coming from. All right. So, looking at Seven Dwarfs with growth of Nollywood, especially, I think a movie like Seven Dwarfs has done greatly. And when we have likes movie, it will obviously grow Nollywood sector more than we can even imagine. All right. So for me, I would say yes, there's growth, but we're still extremely far from where we're going to. And ask me why and how. It is basically the feedback. They come back to the producers, they come back to the actors, and there are so many things that is really affecting this growth, this particular growth. Which one is maybe the Nigerian policies. All right, so there was a time it was in the hair, Prime Video is no more in Nigeria, Netflix is no more in Nigeria. All these things will obviously affect the growth of Nollywood. Okay, so when I'm producing a movie and I want to go, like, I want this to be a Hollywood standard. As a business person, I have to also think, where am I taking it to? How am I going to get my money back? Will there be return on investment? Do you understand what I'm saying? So, but if we continue to have issues with policies that is going to affect streaming platforms, then it will automatically affect the growth of Nollywood. Actors like Gabriel, Femi, Adebayo, we should actually be billionaires now.
100%.
But we're still struggling. We're still struggling.
It's really.
It's struggling is relative.
I started with full hair.
All right. So what we're saying in essence is Nollywood is growing. Obviously, we can tell that, and that's why I started with that maxim. The fact has spoken for itself. We're growing, but we're still extremely far from that. And the hindrances are what I have mentioned. The Nigerian policies, they come back to producers and actors, major hindrances from the growth of Nollywood, which I think at some point we will actually get there.
I believe so too. What about you, Gabriel, as we wrap up?
Oh yes. For me, I think it's good to aspire, but then we have to look at our immediate audience. I think we can cater to ourselves a whole lot more. The yearn for Hollywood being the standard is not a problem, but then when you do that too much, you leave yourself behind. There's us for us. And I think we should focus more because it's beyond whatever dollar industry we have here in Africa. Trust me. Believe that. Because once we get to that certain height that we feel we want to be, there will still be another height again. If we look like Hollywood today, trust me, some set of people would still come and feel like we are still not where we're supposed to be. Growth is gradual. And trust me, it wasn't like this 10 years ago. It wasn't like this 20 years ago. Even 2 years ago, it was not like this. Meaning, there's a shift year in, year out. It might not be so obvious for those that are yearning for the bigger stuff, but trust me, we are moving. And it's a game that is unending. This is a game where there's no retirement stage, where you literally grow old and feel weak and you don't want to be part of it anymore. So it's your choice. Because there's still room for any age at any certain time. So meaning, we will do our own, and people coming also will take it from us and push it to the next level. Because I'm not going to say we're trying our best. Believe me, we are. But to say we can do better, yes we can. But to say we are, this is not about bashing the game. We can't bash this industry. It has done a lot in a lot of people's lives till date. So like I said, it's a game of chance. Some will hit it to the top, some will hit it to the middle, and some will never leave the ground floor. It's not a curse, it's the order of things. That's why you have to look introspect to yourself. As an element in the industry, the position you're playing, how can you up your own game?
Right, guys. My name is Femi Adebayo. I'm a filmmaker, the producer of the blockbuster Seven Doors. I'm here today at Afrif to discuss the making of blockbusters. So, and I was able to emphasize on three major components. One, the storyline. Making a blockbuster, you have to think of what storyline are you presenting to the audience. All right, and I was also able to tell them then consider having a link of about three movies in just one title. That will make your story exceptional and unique. Also, I am also very particular about doing what people have not done before, and that is also an element you have to consider when you're making a blockbuster in Nollywood. All right, give people what they have not seen before. So move away from the usuals. You'll make a blockbuster. Then, of course, you have to consider scale. When you talk about scale, talk about the kind of costumes you are using, the kind of properties, the kind of art designs. All those are tips of making a Nollywood blockbusters.
Hi, my name is Gabriel Afolayan, and we're live at the 14th edition of Afrif. And, we just got out of a session that described how to make a blockbuster movie. First and first is to know your audience, and cater to them, specifically. Then fundamentally, the story has to be of a strong type. Then after that, then the style of interpretation, whatever ideology you want to bring in, to interpret that, and your choice of cast as well will determine a whole lot. Your art direction, if it is an upscale project, medium scale, or even a lower scale project can be a blockbuster. It all depends on how you're able to cook all those things together, and they all stem from you knowing your audience really well. If you know there's a demography of audience you need to cater to, you have to figure if it is the older, the millennia, or the very recent generation, and you can also add all those three together as well to make a perfect, film for your audience. So, what else is there? Nothing much, and I've been a support system to a whole lot of other actors and producers, at least. We thank God we're still able to do that because the job has become a purpose for us. It's gone far beyond just being a job. So we're here to also support not to make money, even though we're making money, but to also be there for people as well. And for me, I have a film called U-Turn. It's still going to come on other platforms, and I'm hoping to do a whole lot more pretty much later.
We sure hope you enjoyed this video. For more entertaining video content such as behind the scenes of music videos and movies, music concerts, premieres, interviews, and exclusive gists, subscribe now to our YouTube channel Goldmynetv and be unleashed into a world of super excitement.